This is Bible History 101. Not necessarily a college level history class or whatever, and it's not really entry level either. It's pretty intermediate, I would say. The thing that I would say is go back, start with the first one, the Deuteronomy 28 breakdown, and then things will be easier for you to understand going forward. But with that being said, we're going to pick up where we left off last week in the book of Judges. We're going through Joshua and the Judges. This is part 3. All right, we started with Joshua, and then we went to the first part of the Judges. We ended with Gideon last week. Now we're going to pick up on the backlash from Gideon and his 300 defeating the Midianites. All right, we're not going to be here too long tonight. I just want to get through Jephthah. I want to get from Gideon to Jephthah tonight. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. A lot of reading just from the scriptures. All right, a lot of these things from specifically this time period, the book of Judges, a lot of the artifacts from that time have not made it, or they have not found them. So, you know, in other situations we will pull resources, but in this one we'll just be reading the scriptures. All right, so this is Judges 8, starting with verse 1. And the men of Ephraim said unto him, Why hast thou served us thus, that thou callest us not, when thou wentest to fight with the Midianites? And they did chide with him sharply. All right, so remember that at that time, all right, every tribe of Israel was pretty much separate from the rest. They did their own thing. Every city pretty much did their own thing, and every man did their own thing around that time. All right, they had no king over them. Men pretty much just did as they pleased. So when tribes would go to war, they wouldn't always call all the other tribes. All right, it might just be a few tribes going to war. All right, and you saw that with Barak and Deborah, and now you see that here with Gideon as well. Ephraim said, "You didn't call us to the battle." All right. Tribes would go to war. All right, I just wanted to make sure the audio is working. I've had some difficulty in the past. All right, but all praise to the Most High, it is working. Verse 2. And he said unto them, What have I done now in comparison of you? Is not the gleaning of the grapes of Ephraim better than the vintage of Abiezer? All right, that's the city where Gideon is from, Abiezer. God had delivered into your hands the princes of Midian, Oreb and Zeb. And what was I able to do in comparison of you? Then their anger was abated toward him when he said that, right? So he calmed them down. He said, look, you know, we were able to fight our own battles. We didn't need you this time. Y'all got to worry about y'all's own thing. All right, verse 4. And Gideon came to Jordan and passed over, he and the 300 men that were with him, faint, yet pursuing them. And he said unto the men of Succoth, Give, I pray you, loaves of bread unto the people that follow me, for they be faint. And I am pursuing after Zebah and Zalmunna, kings of Midian. And the princes of Succoth said, Are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that we should give bread unto thine army? And Gideon said, Therefore, when the Lord hath delivered Zebah and Zalmunna into mine hand, then I will tear your flesh. Then I will tear your flesh with the thorns of the wilderness and with briars. And he went up thence to Penuel, and spake unto them likewise. And the men of Penuel answered him as the men of Succoth had answered him. All right, Penuel is where, and let me pull one of these maps out real quick. Let me pull one of these maps out real quick. I got a folder of them. Now. Where is this at? There we go. Okay. See if we can find these cities, Succoth and Penuel, on the map. Because I know Penuel historically is where, let me pull this back down, where Jacob wrestled the angel. I don't know where specifically that is though. Let's see. Let's see if we can find it on here. He said Succoth and Penuel. He said he crossed over the Jordan, chased them over the Jordan. We don't see it on this map, and it has the most cities of them. So I don't think a map's going to show them, unfortunately. No, here's Succoth, my bad. Succoth and Penuel are up here in Gilead, around that area, north of the Jabbok, or Jabbok River, however you want to say it. Okay. In the land of Gad. Alright. Let's get back to it. And he spake also unto the men of Penuel, saying, When I come again in peace, I will break down this tower. Verse 10. Now Zebah and Zalmunna were in Karkor, and their hosts with them, about 15,000 men, all that were left of all the hosts of the children of the east. For there fell 120,000 men that drew the sword. So these 300 men of Gideon, they were no joke. 120,000 men. And Gideon went up by the way of them that dwelt in tents on the east of Nobah and Jogbehah, and smote the host, for the host was secure. And when Zebah and Zalmunna fled, he pursued after them, and took the two kings of Midian, Zebah and Zalmunna, and discomfited all the hosts. And Gideon, the son of Joash, returned from the battle before the sun was up, and called a young man of the men of Succoth, and inquired of him. And he described unto him the princes of Succoth, and the elders thereof, even 17 men. So that would be 77 men. And he came unto the men of Succoth and said, Behold, Zebah and Zalmunna, with whom ye did upbraid me, saying, Are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that we should give bread unto thy men that are weary? Right, so they were basically like, oh, you're not going to fight, you're not going to be able to overcome them anyway. You're not going to be able to fight against them anyway. Verse 16. And he took the elders of the city, and thorns of the wilderness, and briars, and with them he taught the men of Succoth. He ain't talking about he sit here and did a lesson like what I'm doing. That's not what he did. He verse 17, and he beat down the tower of Penuel and slew the men of the city. That's how he taught them. All right, he beat them down. Same that he did with that tower in Penuel. Verse 18. Then said he unto Zebah and Zalmunna, What manner of men were they whom ye slew at Tabor? And they answered, As thou art, so were they. Each one resembled the children of a king. They're saying, oh, they were mighty men. Verse 19, and he said, They were my brethren, even the sons of my mother. As the Lord liveth, if ye had saved them alive, I would not slay you. And he said unto Jether, his firstborn, Up and slay them. But the youth drew not a sword, for he feared, because he was yet a youth. Right? So Gideon's trying to train his son to be a man of valor, a man of war. But, the kid got the spirit of fear. And as we was reading last week, Gideon had that about him too. All right? But he still stood up and fought for the Lord, all right, and for his people. All right, verse 21. Then Zebah and Zalmunna said, Rise thou and fall upon us, for as the man is, so is his strength. And Gideon arose and slew Zebah and Zalmunna, and took away the ornaments that were on their camels' necks. All right. So Zebah and Zalmunna said, Please don't let this kid kill us, all right? Kill us yourself. And so Gideon did it. Verse 22. Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon, Rule thou over us, both thou and thy son's son also, for thou hast delivered us from the hand of Midian. All right. So, as you can see here, the children of Israel already are asking for a king. All right. They see a mighty man in Gideon. They said, Please be king over us. We want to be like everybody else. We want to have a king over us too. Even though the law specifically says that there's to be judges and the Lord would be the king. Of course, the people of Israel did not want that. Verse 23. And Gideon said unto them, I will not rule over you, neither shall my son rule over you. The Lord shall rule over you. See that Gideon had the right spirit about him. He said, I ain't trying to be king. I know that the Lord is king, so serve him. Verse 24. And Gideon said unto them, I would desire a request of you, that ye would give me every man the earrings of his prey. For they had golden earrings, because they were Ishmaelites. All right. So even you see back then, and that's where the Midianites are today, scattered amongst the Ishmaelites. Well, I say scattered. They're probably still in the same region of Saudi Arabia as they were back then. But even back then, they had a league with the Ishmaelites, and that's what the Ishmaelites did. They were with and still are with the rest of the children of Abraham, right? Keturah's children. Verse 25. And they answered, We will willingly give them. And they spread a garment, and did cast therein every man the earrings of his prey. And Gideon made an ephod thereof. So that's like a garment, right? So he made like a golden garment. and put it in his city, even in Ophrah. And all Israel went thither a whoring after it, which then became a snare to Gideon into his house, right? Because the children of Israel, obviously, they start worshiping it. They start, bowing down to it, all this kind of stuff, serving it as a god, when that was never Gideon's intentions, all right? His intention was just to make like a monument. But of course, Israel went off, as we always do. Verse 28. Thus was Midian subdued before the children of Israel, so that they lifted up their heads no more. And the country was in quietness 40 years in the days of Gideon. Excuse me. All right. So 40 years of peace. All right. After 7 years of captivity. So again, each captivity gets worse, but as you can see, the peace is always greater on the other side of it. Verse 29. And Jerubbaal, the son of Joash, went and dwelt in his own house. All right, so Jerubbaal is another name for Gideon. All right, is a nickname. Verse 30. And Gideon had 70 sons of his body begotten, for he had many wives. So that's 70 sons. Verse 30. That's not even counting daughters. Verse 31. And his concubine was in Shechem. She also bare him a son whose name he called Abimelech. All right, and we're about to get into Abimelech here in the next chapter. Verse 32. And Gideon the son of Joash died in a good old age, and was buried in the sepulchre of Joash's father in Ophrah of the Abiezrites. So Ophrah would be a suburb of Abiezer. Verse 33. And it came to pass, as soon as Gideon was dead, that the children of Israel turned again, and went a whoring after Baalim, meaning other lords, and made Baal-berith their god. All right, the Lord of Berith, or Berith. Verse 34. And the children of Israel remembered not the Lord their God, who had delivered them out of the hands of all their enemies on every side. Neither showed they kindness to the house of Jerubbaal, namely Gideon, according to all the goodness which he had showed unto Israel. All right, so immediately after those 40 years, they went off, forgot about God, forgot about serving the Lord, started serving other gods, and even forgot about Gideon and his house and his family. All right. And that's what you see, this pattern in the book of Judges. All right, you have the Israelites sinning against the Lord, going into captivity and being oppressed, and then they're crying out to the Lord because of the oppression for the salvation, and then the Lord raises up a judge or a leader or a savior to the people, a defender of the people, and then of course the Lord delivers the people using the judge, the deliverer, and then the people have some peace, but then go right back into wickedness. All right, that's the cycle. All right, it's just going into detail in the book of Judges of all the times, or all the different times that this has happened. All right, Judges 9, start with verse 1. And Abimelech, the son of Jerubbaal, the son of Gideon, as we read about in the last chapter, went to Shechem unto his mother's brethren, and communed with them and with all the family of the house of his mother's father, saying, Speak, I pray you, in the ears of all the men of Shechem. All right, Shechem, I know is going to be on this map because Shechem was a very popular city, and Shechem is right here in Manasseh. All right. In West Manasseh, that is. I don't know if you can see that. I'll zoom in a little bit. Right here in this mountainous region. And you see here is Gerizim, there's Shiloh, and Mount Ephraim is in the same region. All right. Let's go back. Speak, I pray you, in the ears of all the men of Shechem, whether it is better for you, either that all the sons of Jerubbaal, which are 70 persons, reign over you, or that one reign over you. Remember also that I am your bone and your flesh. All right. So he's like, remember, I'm your brother. And why would y'all have all these guys reign over you when it can just be me? Just make me the king. All right. Verse 3. And his mother's brethren spake of him in the ears of all the men of Shechem, all these words. And their hearts inclined to follow Abimelech, for they said, he is our brother, right? So this man is real politician-like, real sleazy, just wants power over the people, all right? and all the comforts that come with that. And they gave him 70 pieces of silver out of the house of Bel-berith, wherewith Abimelech hired vain and light persons, which followed him, right? Stupid people and vain, meaning they want the same type of glory that he has, right? Or that he is acquiring, right? Real wicked people, a real wicked man, this Abimelech. Verse 5, and he went unto his father's house at Ophrah, and slew his brethren, the sons of Jerubbaal, being 70 persons, 70 people, upon one stone, right? Drug out all their bodies, put them in one place. Notwithstanding, yet Jotham, the youngest son of Jerubbaal, was left, for he hid himself, right? Only the youngest survived out of that. And all the men of Shechem gathered together, and all the house of Millo, and went and made Abimelech king by the plain of the pillar that was in Shechem. All right, so all the men of Shechem, anointed Abimelech their king after he killed all his brothers. All right, verse 7. And when they told it to Jotham, he went and stood in the top of Mount Gerizim. And we just saw that on the map. Right here, Mount Gerizim is in the same. And Mount Gerizim is interesting because it's on the border between Manasseh and Ephraim. So he'll be able to call to the Ephraimites and the Manassites right here. And here's Ophrah that we were just talking about. He went down there and killed everybody. All his brothers. The children of Gideon. And when they told it to Jotham, he went and stood in the top of Mount Gerizim, and lifted up his voice, and cried and said unto them, Hearken unto me, ye men of Shechem, that God may hearken unto you. The trees went forth on a time to anoint a king over them. And they said unto the olive tree, Reign thou over us. But the olive tree said unto them, Should I leave my fatness, wherewith by me they honor God and man, and go to be promoted over the trees? And the trees said to the fig tree, Come thou and reign over us. But the fig tree said unto them, Should I forsake my sweetness and my good fruit, and go be promoted over the trees? Then said the trees unto the vine, Come thou and reign over us. And the vine said unto them, Should I leave my wine, which cheereth God and man, and go to be promoted over the trees? Right? So he's making the point that you have this man leaving his office. He's not supposed to be a king. He's supposed to serve a different purpose. All right? But he's forsaking that purpose just to be promoted. All right? And you have people who do a lot of wicked things just to be promoted, just to gain status and prominence. All right? Again, a politician type. All right? So 14. Then said all the trees unto the bramble, Come down and reign over us. And the bramble said unto the trees, If in truth ye anoint me king over you, then come and put your trust in my shadow. And if not, let fire come out of the bramble and devour the cedars of Lebanon. Verse 16. Now therefore, if ye have done truly and sincerely, and that ye have made Abimelech king, and if ye have dealt well with Jerubbaal and his house, and have done unto him according to the deserving of his hands, for my father fought for you, and adventured his life far, and delivered you out of the hand of Midian. And ye are risen up against my father's house this day, and have slain his sons, 70 persons, 70 persons, upon one stone, and have made Abimelech the son of his maidservant king over the men of Shechem, because he is your brother. If ye then have dealt truly and sincerely with Jerubbaal, and with his house this day, then rejoice ye in Abimelech, and let him also rejoice in you. But if not, let fire come out from Abimelech, and devour the men of Shechem, and the house of Millo. And let fire come out from the men of Shechem, and from the house of Millo, and devour Abimelech. So Jotham is letting them know, look, this is not going to end well for you. All right? You have this type of spirit on this man, he's going to turn against you. All right? Because he's wicked and evil. All right? And y'all going to turn against him because y'all going to see his wickedness. Verse 21. And Jotham ran away and fled, and went to Beer, and dwelt there, for fear of Abimelech his brother. All right? And Beer is probably like a smaller city. I don't know if it's going to be here on the map. We can take a quick look. Yeah, not seeing it anywhere. Yeah, it's a smaller city. It's probably a smaller city. All right, and hid himself. All right, when this is verse 22. When Abimelech had reigned 3 years over Israel, then God sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Shechem, and the men of Shechem dealt treacherously with Abimelech, that the cruelty done to the 70 sons of Jerubbaal might come, and their blood be laid upon Abimelech their brother, which slew them, and upon the men of Shechem, which aided him in the killing of his brethren. And I want y'all to notice this, that Jotham made this prophecy, and then he hid himself, and everything went well for 3 years. All right? In the grand scheme of things, that's not a long time. But day to day, you may, if you're in Jotham's position, you may start to, your faith may start to wander, or waver, I should say. All right? You know what I'm saying? You waiting on this to happen. It's already been, a few months. You waiting on this to implode, right? So that's just a little message to keep the faith, all right? Through many years, all right? The wicked will be, their wickedness will come back upon them, I should say, all right? Nothing happens in vain. You reap what you sow. All right, verse 24. That the cruelty done. Okay, I read that. That the cruelty done to the 70 sons of Jerubbaal might come, that their blood be laid upon Abimelech their brother, which slew them, and upon the men of Shechem, which aided him in the killing of his brethren. Verse 25. And the men of Shechem set liers in wait for him in the top of the mountains, and they robbed all that came along that way by them, and it was told Abimelech. All right, so you got these people camping out and robbing people that come through the mountains. Verse 26, and Gaal, the son of Ebed, came with his brethren, and went over to Shechem. And the men of Shechem put their confidence in him. And they went out into the fields, and gathered their vineyards, and trode the grapes, and made merry, and went into the house of their God, and did eat and drink, and cursed Abimelech. And Gaal, the son of Ebed, said, Who is Abimelech, and who is Shechem, that we should serve him? Is not he the son of Jerubbaal, and Zebul his officer? Serve the men of Hamor, the father of Shechem. For why should we serve him? And would to God this people were under my hand, then would I remove Abimelech. And he said to Abimelech, Increase thine army, and come out. Right? So now you have this contester of the throne, right? He saw how Abimelech just set himself up as king. Now here comes Gaal, the son of Ebed, and he says, Well, I want to be king too. Come on out here, Abimelech. He said, He ain't nothing. I can take him out. Verse 30. And when Zebul, the ruler of the city, heard the words of Gaal, the son of Ebed, his anger was kindled. And he sent messengers unto Abimelech privily, saying, Behold, Gaal, the son of Ebed, and his brethren be come to Shechem. And behold, they fortify the city against thee. Now therefore, up by night, thou and the people that is with thee, and lie in wait in the field. And it shall be that in the morning, as soon as the sun is up, that thou rise early and set upon the city. And behold, when he and the people that is with him come out against thee, then mayest thou do to them as thou shalt find occasion. All right, so Zebul, the officer, right, the ruling officer over this region, is coming with a strategy for Abimelech. All right, verse 34. And Abimelech rose up, and all the people that were with him by night, and they laid wait against Shechem in 4 companies. And Gaal, the son of Ebed, went out and stood in the entering of the gate of the city, and Abimelech rose up, and the people that were with him from lying in wait. And when Gaal saw the people, he said to Zebul, Behold, there come people down from the top of the mountains. And Zebul said unto him, Thou seest the shadow of the mountains as if they were men. All right. And Gaal spoke again and said, See, there come down by the middle of the land, and another company come along by the plain of Meonanim. Then said Zebul unto him, Where is now thy mouth, wherewith thou saidest, Who is Abimelech, that we should serve him? Is not this the people that thou hast despised? Go out, I pray now, and fight with them. And Gaal went out before the men of Shechem and fought with Abimelech. All right, so now Abimelech actually does show up, and Gaal don't want no part in it. All right, Zebul's trying to get him out there, but Gaal don't want no part in it. All right. He said, Where's your mouth at now? You talking all that mess? Go and prove it. All right, go fight with him. Verse 40. And Abimelech chased him, and he fled before him. And many were overthrown and wounded, even unto the entering of the gate. And Abimelech dwelt at Ramah. And Zebul thrust out Gaal and his brethren, that they should not dwell in Shechem. Kicked them out. Got rid of it. And it came to pass on the morrow that the people went out into the field, and they told Abimelech. And he took the people and divided them into 3 companies, and laid wait in the field, and looked, and behold, the people that were come forth out of the city. And he rose up against them and smote them. And Abimelech and the company that was with him rushed forward and stood in the entering of the gate of the city. And the 2 other companies ran upon all the people that were in the fields and slew them. And Abimelech fought against the city all that day. And he took the city and slew the people that was therein, and beat down the city and sowed it with salt. All right. So sowing a city with salt means that the crops will not grow. That means these people, because it ain't like today where you go to the store and all the food's been shipped there from somewhere else. That's not how it worked back then. If the city didn't have food, the people starved, all right, or they move out of that city. So that's why he's making sure that these people cannot grow crops, all right. Sowed it with salt, just ransacked, ruined, destroyed this whole city that he wanted to be king over. Verse 46. And when all the men of the tower of Shechem heard that, they entered into an hold of the house of the god Berith. Right, so like a grain or crop storage. And it was told Abimelech that all the men of the tower of Shechem were gathered together. And Abimelech gat him up to Mount Zalmon, he and all the people that were with him. And Abimelech took an axe in his hand, and cut down a bow from the trees, and took it, and laid it on his shoulder, and said unto the people that were with him, What have ye seen me do? Make haste, and do as I have done. And all the people likewise cut down every man his bow, and followed Abimelech, and put them to the hold, and set the hold on fire upon them, so that all the men of the tower of Shechem died also, about 1,000 men and women. All right, so just killed 1,000 of these people, and all that were gathered together in that storehouse. So here you see, first the men of Shechem, or the people of Shechem, turning on Abimelech, and now here comes Abimelech, destroying the whole city. Verse 50. Then went Abimelech to Thebes, and encamped against Thebes, and took it. But there was a strong tower within the city, and thither fled all the men and women, and all they of the city, and shut it to them, and gat them up to the top of the tower. And Abimelech came unto the tower, and fought against it, and went hard unto the door of the tower to burn it with fire. And a certain woman cast a piece of millstone about Abimelech's head, and all to break his skull. Then he called hastily unto the young man of his armor bearer, and said unto him, Draw thy sword and slay me, that men say not of me, a woman slew him. And his young man thrust him through, and he died. All right, so Abimelech come against the wrong city. All right, and there was a woman threw a stone out the window, hit him on top of the head. And when the men of Israel saw that Abimelech was dead, they departed every man into his place. All right, so just chaos, wickedness and chaos, man. Verse 56. Thus God rendered the wickedness of Abimelech, which he did unto his father, in slaying his 70 brethren. And all the evil men of Shechem did God render upon their heads. And upon them came the curse of Jotham, the son of Jerubbaal. All right, so Jotham prophesied, and of course it came to pass. All right, he was the only son of Gideon that was able to survive and all that. All right, so next chapter. And again, I do want to reiterate, we'll come back to Judges 10. I do want to reiterate this point about the entire book of Judges that you need to keep in mind when reading it. All right, this summarizes the whole book of Judges in one verse, 21 and 25. Judges 21 and 25. In those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes. All right, so all that you're reading about the book of Judges, these men are not examples. All right, some men are, some good men are, some of the judges are, but even they have their flaws. All right, every man did what was right in his own eyes. Nobody was ruling over the people to establish the law of God. Nobody. All right, again, you had your prophets, you had your judges around at that time. All right. So here we're going to get into some more of the judges. All right. So this is Tola. Starting with Judges 10 and verse 1. And after Abimelech there arose to defend Israel Tola, the son of Puah, the son of Dodo, a man of Issachar. And he dwelt in Shamir in Mount Ephraim. And he judged Israel 23 years and died and was buried in Shamir. All right. So so far we've had Othniel, Ehud, who slayed Eglon, king of Moab, and you had Shamgar, right? And then you had Barak with the assistance of Deborah, all right? So, and then after that we got Gideon, all right? And so here, now we got Tola, all right? So that makes 6. And after him arose Jair, a Gileadite, and judged Israel 22 years. All right, so I pointed out Mount Ephraim earlier. Mount Ephraim is around this region. All right. Then Gilead, when it said Jair was a Gileadite, as you can see, this is Jabesh Gilead right here. But this whole region about right here is Gilead. As you can see up here is Ramoth Gilead. So you got this whole region right here is Gilead. Yeah, let's get back to it. All right. He judged Israel 22 years, Jair did. Verse 4, and he had 30 sons that rode on 30 ass colts, and they had 30 cities, which are called Havoth Jair unto this day, which are in the land of Gilead. And Jair died and was buried in Canaan. All right. Do we see Havoth on here anywhere in Gilead? No. No, so it's not even on this map. But again, this land right here is Gilead. East of the Jordan, north of the Jabbok, just about. All the way up to the, what is that, Yarmouk? Yeah, to about the Yarmouk. All that is Gilead. All right, so now we have Jair, that makes 7. If you're counting the men who are the judges. Verse 6. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and served Baalim and Ashtaroth, and the gods of Syria, the gods of Zidon, the gods of Moab, and the gods of the children of Ammon, and the gods of the Philistines, and forsook the Lord and served not him. All right, and see, that's what happened when you have people who's not being controlled by one leader, not being led by one leader, not being not having the laws of God enforced in the land. This is what happens. Everybody serves their own gods. All right, verse 7. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hands of the Philistines and into the hands of the children of Ammon. All right, so your Philistines would be your modern day Sudanese. They used to be up there in the Gaza coast. And the Ammon would be the Japanese. They were there east of Israel at that time. Verse 8. And that year they vexed and oppressed the children of Israel 18 years. All the children of Israel that were on the other side of Jordan, in the land of the Amorites, which is Gilead. Moreover, the children of Ammon passed over Jordan to fight also against Judah and against Benjamin and against the house of Ephraim, so that Israel was sore distressed. All right. So, as you can see, this right here is Ammon, and then they went and they took this land right here, and then they crossed the Jordan. Well, I should say they took all this right here. They crossed the Jordan right here, and then went into Benjamin. And then, as you can see down here, you go into Judah. All right? So that's what it's talking about. All right. Verse 10. Oh, and against the house of Ephraim. I didn't mention Ephraim, but they're right there north of Benjamin. Yeah, right there northwest of Benjamin. Right there. Verse 10. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, saying, We have sinned against thee, both because we have forsaken our God, and also served Baalim, all right, other lords. And the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Did not I deliver you from the Egyptians, and from the Amorites, from the children of Ammon, and from the Philistines? The Zidonians also, and the Amalekites, and the Maonites did oppress you, and you cried to me, and I delivered you out of their hand. God is saying, look, I'm getting about tired of this, all right? I keep doing this. I keep seeing this cycle. where even if I do deliver you, y'all still gonna turn away from me again. All right. Yet ye have forsaken me and served other gods. Wherefore I will deliver you no more. Verse 14, go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation. And the children of Israel said unto the Lord, we have sinned. Do thou unto us whatsoever seemeth good unto thee. Deliver us only, we pray thee, this day. And they put away the strange gods from among them and served the Lord. And his soul was grieved for the misery of Israel. So you can see right here the compassion and the grace of the Lord, all right? His mercy, all right? Because his soul was still grieved for Israel, even though he keeps seeing this cycle, right? Verse 17, then the children of Ammon were grieved together and encamped in Gilead. And the children of Israel assembled themselves together and encamped in Mizpeh. Let's see if we got Mizpeh on here. I think Mizpeh is, I wanted to say Benjamin, but I don't see it down there. Maybe it's Ephraim. Okay, yeah, it's right here in Benjamin. In Benjamin. All right, let's go back. And the people and princes of Gilead said one to another, what man is he that will begin to fight against the children of Ammon? He shall be head over all the inhabitants of Gilead. All right, so now let's go to the next chapter. We're starting to get into Jephthah. All right, take a look at this real quick. Anybody said anything? Battery. Okay, yeah. Okay, all praise to the Most High. I see your comment now, Mike. Yeah, that was just an internet issue, I believe. Okay, so yeah, let's start with verse 1 in Judges. Judges 11 and verse 1. Now Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty man of valor, and he was the son of a harlot. And Gilead begat Jephthah. And Gilead's wife bare him sons, and his wife's sons grew up. And they thrust out Jephthah, and said unto him, thou shalt not inherit in our father's house, for thou art the son of a strange woman. All right, baby out of wedlock. Then Jephthah fled from his brethren, and dwelt in the land of Tob. And there were gathered vain men to Jephthah, and went out with him. And it came to pass in process of time that the children of Ammon made war against Israel. And it was so, that when the children of Ammon made war against the children of Israel, the elders of Gilead went to fetch Jephthah out of the land of Tob. And they said unto Jephthah, come and be our captain, that we may fight with the children of Ammon. And Jephthah said unto the elders of Gilead, did not ye hate me, and expel me out of my father's house? And why are ye come unto me now when ye are in distress? All right, so it's one of two situations. You know, they're coming to Jephthah, who they didn't want anything to do with. Either A, because they knew that he was a valiant man, and they knew he was a strong man, a great warrior. Or B, and it could be A and B, that the captains at that time, and even the kings of that time, used to be the first ones out in the battle. All right, so they wanted Jephthah on the front lines, whether that be that he was a mighty and valiant man, or whether that be that he was disposable to them. You know, who's to say? Verse 8. And the elders of Gilead said unto Jephthah, therefore we turn again to thee now, that thou mayest go with us and fight against the children of Ammon, and be our head over all the inhabitants of Gilead. And Jephthah said unto the elders of Gilead, if ye bring me home again to fight against the children of Ammon, and the Lord deliver them before me, shall I be your head? And the elders of Gilead said unto Jephthah, the Lord be witness between us, if we do not so according to thy words. Then Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him head and captain over them. And Jephthah uttered all his words before the Lord in Mizpeh. All right, so he's going to be judge of his region, leader of his region now. Verse 12. And Jephthah sent messengers unto the king of the children of Ammon, saying, what hast thou to do with me, that thou art come against me to fight in my land? And the king of the children of Ammon answered unto the messengers of Jephthah, because Israel took away my land when they came up out of Egypt, from Arnon even unto Jabbok, and unto Jordan. Now therefore restore those lands again peaceably. All right, so he said from Arnon. Arnon is down here. Let me zoom in. All right, so we don't see. Okay, yeah, Arnon right here where And then he said to the Jabbok right here, even unto Jordan. And this is the Jordan right here. So he said all that land used to belong to Ammon. That's what Ammon is saying. Well, y'all took the land that was right there from us. All right. Verse 14. And Jephthah sent messengers again unto the king of the children of Ammon and said unto him, Thus saith Jephthah, Israel took not away the land of Moab, nor the land of the children of Ammon. But when Israel came up from Egypt and walked through the wilderness unto the Red Sea and came to Kadesh, then Israel sent messengers unto the king of Edom, saying, Let me, I pray thee, pass through thy land. But the king of Edom would not hearken thereto. And in like manner they sent unto the king of Moab, but he would not consent, and Israel abode in Kadesh. Then they went along through the wilderness and passed the land of Edom and the land of Moab, and came by the east side of the land of Moab, and pitched on the other side of Arnon. But came not within the border of Moab, for Arnon was the border of Moab. And Israel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, the king of Heshbon. And Israel said unto him, Let us pass, we pray thee, through thy land into my place. But Sihon trusted not Israel to pass through his coast, but Sihon gathered all his people together and pitched in Jahaz and fought against Israel. And the Lord God of Israel delivered Sihon and all his people into the hand of Israel, and they smote them. So Israel possessed all the land of the Amorites, the inhabitants of that country. And they possessed all the coast of the Amorites from Arnon even unto Jabbok, and from the wilderness even unto Jordan. All right, so Jephthah is laying out the history. He's like, look, you don't know your history. You're lying right now. All right, we didn't take this from y'all. We stayed away from y'all, and we took this land from the Amorites. All right, verse 23. So now the Lord God of Israel had dispossessed the Amorites from before his people Israel, and shouldest thou possess it? He's saying, look, this is our land. We didn't take it from y'all. Y'all trying to take it from us now. Verse 24. Will not thou possess that which Chemosh thy God giveth thee to possess? So whomsoever the Lord our God shall drive out from before us, them we will possess. Or them will we possess. All right. So he's saying, why don't you just keep the land that your God give you? All right. Verse 25. And now art thou anything better than Balak, the son of Zippor, king of Moab? Did he ever strive against Israel? Or did he ever fight against him? All right, so now he's calling on the history in the book of Numbers. While Israel dwelt in Heshbon and her towns, and in Aroer and her towns, and in all the cities that be along by the coast of Arnon 300 years. Why therefore did he not recover them within that time? He's saying, look, if we took y'all's land, where y'all been at the past 300 years? We've been over here for 300 years now. Verse 27. Wherefore I have not sinned against thee, but thou doest me wrong to war against me. The Lord, the judge, be judged this day between the children of Israel and the children of Ammon. Verse 28. Howbeit the king of the children of Ammon hearkened not unto the words of Jephthah which he sent. Yeah, he didn't like that. That Jephthah knew what he was talking about. See, this king thought, well, this man, he ain't educated or anything like that. He was thrust out of his own father's house. But Jephthah knew the history. All right, he had been studying. All right, verse 29. Then the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he passed over Gilead and Manasseh, and passed over Mizpeh of Gilead. And from Mizpeh of Gilead he passed over unto the children of Ammon. All right, so Mizpeh of Gilead must be over there in the let's see. Do I see a Mizpeh over here in Gilead? No. So it must be the Mizpeh. Must also be a city named Mizpeh over here in Gilead somewhere. All right. Let's go back. And Jephthah vowed a vow unto the Lord, and said, If thou shalt without fail deliver the children of Ammon into mine hands, then it shall be that whatsoever cometh forth of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace from the children of Ammon shall surely be the Lord's, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering. All right, remember that vow. Because that says right here, Jephthah's tragic vow, it ends in tragedy. All right. Verse 32. So Jephthah passed over unto the children of Ammon to fight against them, and the Lord delivered them into his hands. And he smote them from Aroer even till thou come to Minnith, even 20 cities, and unto the plain of the vineyards with a very great slaughter. Thus the children of Ammon were subdued before the children of Israel. All right, so Jephthah led the people to overcome the children of Ammon whenever they come against us. Verse 34. And Jephthah came to Mizpeh and unto his house, and behold, his daughter came out to meet him with timbrels and with dances. And she was his only child. Beside her he had neither son nor daughter. And it came to pass when he saw her that he rent his clothes, and said, Alas, my daughter, thou hast brought me very low, and thou art one of them that trouble me. For I have opened my mouth unto the Lord, and I cannot go back. Right? So they were serious about their vows. If you made a vow unto God back then, it was very serious. All right? People weren't just breaking their vows. All right? Verse 36. And she said unto him, My father, if thou hast opened thy mouth unto the Lord, do to me according to that which hath proceeded out of thy mouth. For as much as the Lord had taken vengeance for thee of thine enemies, even of the children of Ammon. All right, even of the children of Ammon. So, this vow, at first when I read about this vow, it sounded odd to me because, you know, when it says, whenever I come, it says, whatsoever come forth of the doors of my house to meet me when I return in peace, right? I'm going to offer that unto the Lord, right? So I was thinking, like, wouldn't it only be people? But I started thinking that, you know, people back then, they had all sorts of livestock, right? So, you know, you pull up to your house and you open a gate or whatever, it's more than likely at that time would have been like a sheep or like a goat or like cows or whatever. But, you know, it just so happened to be his daughter this time. And this is, as it says, very tragic. I'm going to finish this out, and then I'm going to touch on a point. Going to get sidetracked a bit, just touch on a point after this about vows. All right. Children of Ammon, verse 37. And she said unto her father, Let this thing be done for me. Let me alone 2 months, that I may go up and down upon the mountains and bewail my virginity, I and my fellows. Right. So she said, let me and all my friends go and mourn for these couple months because I'm about to die. I'm about to have to die. Verse 39. And it came to pass at the end of 2 months that she returned to her father, who did with her according to his vow which he had vowed. And she knew no man. She wasn't married. She was a virgin. And it was a custom in Israel. Verse 40. That the daughters of Israel went yearly to lament the daughter of Jephthah the Gileadite 4 days in a year. Right. So back then there was a custom of mourning 4 days throughout the year for the daughter of Jephthah and this unfortunate situation, this unfortunate vow that he made. All right. So I do want to touch on vows real quick, just in reference to Jephthah. I do want to touch on vows real quick. All right. And this is what Christ said about making these vows. There's a lot of people, when they pray to the Lord to get them out of a situation, they be like, oh Lord, if you do this for me, then I won't never do anything else again, or whatever. Right. So yeah, so this ain't what it is. Matthew 5. All right. Matthew 5 and verse 33. Again, ye have heard that it has been said of them by them of old time, thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shalt perform unto the Lord thine oaths. You see that right there? So Jephthah was obligated to keep that oath that he made unto the Lord, because that's a commandment. Verse 34. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because thou cannot make one hair white or black. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. You know, everybody who makes those vows, oh Lord, if you do this for me, then I'll do this, that, and the third, they don't keep those anyway. So Christ said, don't even make no oaths. Don't even make no vows like that. All right? Not, I swear on the earth. I swear by the heavens. You know, don't do any of that. Put it on my city. None of that. Put it on God. You're not worthy to do those things. All right? And Jephthah, as we see here, was not worthy to make that vow, but he did. And he went through with it. All right. So we're gonna read about these. Read chapter 12, and then we'll call it a night. and said unto Jephthah, wherefore passest thou over to fight against the children of Ammon, and did not call us to go with thee? We will burn thy house upon thee with fire. All right, so last time Ephraim didn't get called to a battle, they got real upset about it. This time they really getting upset. Said, look, we're going to burn your house. And Jephthah said unto them, I and my people were at great strife with the children of Ammon. And when I called you, you delivered me not out of their hands. And when I saw that ye delivered me not, I put my life in my hands, and passed over against the children of Ammon, and the Lord delivered them into my hand. Wherefore then are ye come up against me this day, come up unto me this day to fight against me? He said, like, why are you coming against me? I called on y'all, and y'all didn't help. So now why are you mad at me? Verse 4, then Jephthah gathered together all the men of Gilead and fought with Ephraim. And the men of Gilead smote Ephraim, because they said, ye Gileadites are fugitives of Ephraim among the Ephraimites and among the Manassites. Excuse me. And the Gileadites took the passages of Jordan before the Ephraimites, and it was so that when those Ephraimites which were escaped said, let me go over, that the men of Gilead said unto them, art thou an Ephraimite? If he said, nay, then said they unto him, say now Shibboleth. And he said Sibboleth, for he could not frame to pronounce it right. Then they took him and slew him at the passages of Jordan, and there fell at that time of the Ephraimites 40 and 2,000. All right, so there was a certain accent that they had where they didn't pronounce that certain word a certain way. All right, so that's how they could tell who was an Ephraimite, who was a Gileadite. All right, and just to make reference on the map, here's Ephraim right here. And this tribe allotment is a little off because Ephraim actually had a border into Jordan, and then obviously we pointed out Gilead earlier, so that's where they were fighting against one another. But again, every tribe did their own thing back in that time. All right, every tribe did their own thing, every city did their own thing, every man did their own thing. Verse 7, and Jephthah judged Israel 6 years, and then died Jephthah the Gileadite, and was buried in one of the cities of Gilead. All right. So now we have Jephthah, and that makes Othniel, Ehud, Shamgar, Barak, with the assistance of Deborah. You had Gideon, excuse me, and now we mentioned Tola, and who was after Tola? There was one more after Tola that I'm forgetting. Jair. So that's 7. Jephthah makes 8. And now verse 8 in chapter 12 of the book of Judges. And after him, Ibzan of Bethlehem judged Israel. And he had 30 sons and 30 daughters, whom he sent abroad, and took in 30 daughters from abroad for his sons. And he judged Israel 7 years. Then died Ibzan and was buried at Bethlehem. All right, so Bethlehem, I know we all know it from the stories of Christ's birth, but Bethlehem is right here in Judah, south of Benjamin, just south of Benjamin. All right, verse 11. And after him, Elon, a Zebulunite, judged Israel, and he judged Israel 10 years. And Elon, the Zebulunite, died and was buried in Aijalon in the country of Zebulun. All right, so Zebulun's up here in the north. And do we see Aijalon anywhere up here in the north? No. No, so there's a city up here in Zebulun named Aijalon. That's where he was from. All right. Verse 13. And after him, Abdon, the son of Hillel, Pirathonite, judged Israel. I don't know about Pirathon or Pirathon. Things down here in the south somewhere. I'm not seeing it just offhand. Yeah, we'll get not seeing it. Maybe I'm looking over it, but I'm not seeing Pirathon right now. So, not sure what tribe that's at, but we'll get back to it. Abdon, the son of Hillel, Parathonite, judged Israel, and he had 40 sons and 30 nephews that rode on 10 ass colts, all right, 70 ass colts, and he judged Israel 8 years. And Abdon, the son of Hillel, the Parathonite, died and was buried in Pirathon in the land of Ephraim, and in the mount of the Amalekites, all right. So that lets us know it's down here in Ephraim. Okay, so all praise to the Most High for that, because after Jephthah, you had these 3 men, Ibzan, Elon, and Abdon. All right, so that makes 11. Next week, Lord's will, we'll get into Samson. All right, and then we might finish the book of Judges next week. There's a couple more stories after you get through Samson. But hope y'all learned something. And with that, I say shalom. Most High in Christ bless.